All right, let's get started, Rob. And last night, you and I have both picked the Baltimore Ravens not only to reach the Super Bowl, but to win it. Of course, they got to go through the Kansas City Chiefs, the two-time defending champions. And last night, for the second straight time, they fell to the Chiefs. Last year, of course, in the AFC title game. Last night in the opening game of the season. And 27-20, good game. Literally went down to the last play. And in a game of inches, Rob, the Ravens lost, or at least had the chance to, lost the chance to win it or tie it.
They were going to go for two, didn't you see?
Yeah,
right?
They were going to go for two, which I liked. I agree with that.
I like
it's
that
game one.
I like
right?
that in that situation.
Yep, absolutely.
You're on the road, Chris. You were underdogs anyway. If you score that touchdown, right, with no time left on the clock or whatever, and then you get a chance to just win it and walk away, I'm with that.
Right, because you got to win it in overtime anyway, so go for your best chance. That's a chance where you can win it and they don't get a chance.
See, that's what I'm saying. Now that's not like all the calls that we saw with the Chargers coach. Like that, no. Like that's a logical go for it. You have nothing to lose, Chris.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely. And I had this great line: in a game of inches, they literally lost by an inch. So
Rob, were you a writer once?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
So what are your thoughts on I want to ask you two questions, and I think the second one will be what we really discuss. But does this discourage you in your pick of the Ravens to win the AFC? And what'd you think of Lamar Jackson's performance? Because it was all over the place, good and bad.
Yeah, no, I'm not discouraged at all. I mean, I saw stuff that can be cleaned up, and they can do better. 5 formation penalties, Chris?
Yeah.
5? I've been watching football for 40 years. I cannot recall a game.
Well, there was 2 or 3 on the first possession.
But I'm just saying, in a game, Chris, watch football. When's the last time you saw 5 formation penalties?
Well, I tell you, the last time I saw a lot of them was last year with the Chiefs, with Jawan Taylor. I mean, at the beginning of the year, Rob, teams, or I should say the officials in the league, they want to stress certain rules. And they've told the teams they were stressing that rule, as far as the tackles. Because what it was tackles were lined up incorrectly according to the rules, at least, according to the officials.
But the coaches need to make an adjustment to get that sorted out. All I'm saying is, like there was stuff that they could clean up. Obviously, he lost a fumble, which resulted in points, I believe.
Field goal. Yeah.
Field goal, right? Points.
Yep.
So that was the situation. And I give him credit. After they didn't get, when Mahomes' pass was batted and Mahomes wound up getting it back, that was a great opportunity if they would have got the ball there. It didn't happen, but they still held on to stop them a couple times, Chris, defensively, early in the game where the Chiefs could have blown them out. They got 2 field goals where the Chiefs were really in a good spot.
Lamar's fumble, they got the ball at the 14.
Right, and only got 3.
When do you stop the Chiefs?
Right.
When they get 1st and 10 at your own 4.
That's what I'm saying, Chris.
Yeah,
like things like that, I like that. And even though he missed the receiver in the end zone, that was weird because he was open, and I don't know if he was expecting him to stop or keep running or whatever. But then he still comes back to throw, and the guy's foot's on the line. I get it, Chris, and they review it.
It was a good call. It was the right call.
But he still delivered that ball, which could have easily been the game-tying touchdown in that situation. So I like the way they finished the game. They didn't roll over. They didn't feel like they couldn't win. You're on the road. You were a 3-point underdog. It was there. And I did like some of the stuff that I saw. So I wasn't, and of course he had 100 yards rushing, 100 and some yards passing. Who was the only other?
270-something pass. He's the first player ever to throw for 250 or more yards and run for 100 or more yards in a season opener. First player ever. So
when you say a season opener, somebody did it in another game?
yeah, it must have, because that's what they were saying was a season opener.
You know, like, to me, that doesn't, like, if somebody's done it before, what does it matter what game it is? You know what I mean? Like,
No,
I'd rather know.
It is a,
No, but I'd rather know,
over.
like, that 20 people have done it or 2 people. It makes a big difference to me.
Well,
that's
I'm sure 20 haven't, but I don't know. I don't know what.
But that's all I'm saying. Like, I wasn't discouraged.
I'm with you in that everything was going for the Chiefs. They were playing at home. They had banner night and all the adrenaline that comes from celebrating your Super Bowl victory. They had less roster turnover than the Ravens, less coaching staff turnover than the Ravens, who lost their defensive coordinator. And whose offensive line coach passed away, unfortunately, within the last few weeks. And so everything was going for the Chiefs. And the Chiefs, I think, have a better roster. That's almost darn near unanimous that they have a better roster than the one that just won the Super Bowl. So they had everything going for them. And to your point, the Ravens, again, took them to the very last play. And look, some people say this is just who the Ravens are. I don't think that's who they are, but if it is, they got, a few months to clean it up, Rob. They, in the AFC Championship game and last night, have so many self-inflicted wounds.
Right, I'm with you, Chris.
And Rob, and I know you agree with this. If I lose a game or anything, if I lose in anything, I would rather it be due to things I can control and I can correct than if they just beat me.
They could have, right, because the Chiefs could have just manhandled them. That's when you look at it and go, oh, they got no shot to beat this team. I don't feel like that. Even in the game, as poorly as they play in the AFC Championship, they didn't get blown out, Chris. They didn't get blown out.
They had a shot. And Rob, last night you mentioned the penalties. But here's the thing with the Chiefs. I mean, we know that is a great offense. But here, look at this. You mentioned stopping them or at least forcing them to field goals deep in Raven territory. Think of the 3 touchdowns. They had 2 field goals and 3 touchdowns, the Chiefs. One of the touchdowns, the pass catch by Xavier Worthy for 35 yards. Broken play.
Yep.
Or broken coverage, I should say, by the Ravens.
He was wide open.
That's fixable.
He was wide open, Chris. I mean,
it was ridiculous.
You could have delivered that pass. I don't know what Marlon Humphrey. It was just a miscommunication. Right. Like
that's fixable.
Exactly.
And then now Xavier's other touchdown, the 21-yard revert. That's just a great play. The Chiefs, great execution, and his speed was just ridiculous. So that happens. They're going to score some legitimate touchdowns. But Rob, think about the other score when Isaiah Pacheco scored from the 1-yard line to go up 20-10. The Ravens had a roughing the passer penalty. If they don't have that roughing the passer penalty, it was 2nd and 20. And if they don't have that penalty, it becomes 3rd and 20 from the Ravens 28.
And that would have been a field goal.
Because of the penalty, they go 1st and 10 from their 14. So that would have, like you said, that would have been a field goal. So 2 of the 3 touchdowns for the Chiefs were, a lot of it due to the Ravens just imploding.
Yep.
And the Ravens, they make too many mistakes. They did it last year. They did it this year. And they have to clean that up.
But that defense is still there, Chris. Cause
it was good, but they had some miscommunication.
Right.
Like we said, the blown coverage. But
I'm saying the
2 timeouts in the 3rd quarter.
Right. But the holding them twice early in that game really
that was impressive.
Kept them in that game.
So they just have to keep getting better. And I want to talk more about Lamar. I haven't gotten to say my piece as we go to the callers.
Yep.
But they have to find a way to maximize both Lamar and Derrick Henry. Because last night, Lamar shined at points, but Henry wasn't that much of a factor after that first touchdown run in the first quarter.
But, and early on, I love what they were doing. When you fake it to Derrick Henry.
Well, right, play action.
Chris, I mean, what are you going to do, right?
That should be a staple of their
Rob
offense.
G, what did I say
and they
last
went
night?
away from it.
Yeah,
they went away from it.
I would told Rob G I would run that, keep running it. Chris, why would you stop running it?
How you going to figure? Yeah, I totally agree. And Henry's a bell cow. He's used to 20, 25 carries a night. And Rob, I wasn't surprised or discouraged by the 3 and 4 yard runs he had, because that's what he does. And he wears that defense down. And then in the third or fourth quarter, he may break a long run.
And Chris, 75%.
And they didn't give him a chance to do that.
% of his yards are after contact, so you know that.
Yeah. Well, last night, he didn't do much after that touchdown. But it's a long season. They got time to correct these things we're talking about.